You're not a real man. My ex would never say no to me. She snapped in front of her friends, so I ghosted her without a word. Now she's begging to talk, but even her ex blocked her, and I don't even think about her anymore. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. I always thought staying calm was a strength. My dad used to say, don't raise your voice, raise your standards. That stuck with me. I'm not loud, I'm not dramatic, I don't make scenes, and for most of our relationship, Ava said she loved that about me. You're so steady, she told me once, tracing her fingers down my arm. You make me feel safe. I believed her. I believed a lot of things she said. We've been dating for about 2 years. I met her at a mutual friend's game night, and she was electric, confident, flirty, always the center of attention. Meanwhile, I was the quiet guy on the couch, sipping a drink, watching everyone else bounce off the walls. She liked that about me. At first, for the first few months, things were great. She loved that I cooked for her, remembered the small stuff, didn't play games. I was stable, supportive, and gave her space to be herself. But somewhere along the way, that stopped being enough. Little things started to shift. Compliments turned into backhanded jabs. You're so responsible. Became God, you're such a rule follower. Thanks for planning that weekend trip. Became, you never do anything spontaneous. Then came the comparisons. Not constant, not at first, just little throwaway comments. Jason used to surprise me with stuff like this all the time. She said once when I brought home dinner from a new restaurant, Jason, her ex. The first time she mentioned him, we were just talking late one night, and she said he was intense, too much controlling even. But sometimes I miss how passionate he was. I let it go. I figured everyone has an ex they remember in a weird, toxic way. Nostalgia is a liar. But then he started coming up more often. Not in a fond way, not directly, but always as some kind of benchmark. Some twisted idea of what a real man should be. The irony, she used to cry, talking about how Jason treated her. She told me once he tracked her phone, showed up at her job, took her credit card and vanished for 3 days, and now she was calling him passionate. The part of me that still cared tried to understand. Maybe she missed the drama. Maybe I was too predictable. But deep down, I think she just missed attention. Any kind, even the destructive kind. I should have left sooner. I know that now. But at the time, I just tried harder, took her on trips, listened more, said yes to more things. The more I gave, the more she seemed to resent me for it. Then came the night that snapped it all in half. It was her friend, Madison's birthday. Big rooftop party. Lots of people I didn't know. Ava was drinking early. She always got louder after 2 glasses of wine. And tonight she was already on her 3rd when we walked in. She introduced me as her boyfriend, but almost like it was a joke. This is Daniel, the reliable one, she said, laughing. He's not going to throw me off a balcony like Jason threatened once. Upgrade right. Everyone laughed. I didn't. I just smiled politely and got us drinks. I should have left then. I wish I had. Later that night, while we were sitting with a few of her friends on this low couch by the heaters, she pulled out her phone and started showing them photos of this luxury apartment downtown. I'm thinking of signing the lease, she said, grinning at me like it was some romantic surprise. Isn't it cute? I raised an eyebrow. You're signing it. She shrugged. Well, we'll both be on the lease. Obviously, that was the first I'd heard of it. I kept my voice low. Ava, we haven't even talked about this. That's a 1-2 month lease. Downtown rent isn't cheap. She rolled her eyes loud enough for everyone to hear. Here we go. I'm not trying to argue, I said calmly. I'm saying we should talk about it privately. Then she turned to her friends and said, this is what I mean. He can't make a decision unless it's in a spreadsheet. I sat back silent, and then she snapped loud in front of everyone. You're not a real man, she said. Her voice slurred just enough to sharpen it. Jason would never say no to me. You just handled things. You're scared of everything. The music didn't stop. The conversations didn't freeze, but the air did. Her friends looked away. One of them mumbled something about going to get another drink. I just stood up, didn't yell, didn't argue, didn't even look at her. I finished my beer, put the empty bottle down on the table, and walked out of the party without a word. That was the last time I saw Ava. At least for a while. I didn't answer her text that night. Didn't respond the next morning either. By noon, I blocked her on everything. Phone, socials, even Venmo. I didn't post anything. Didn't announce anything. I just vanished from her life. She wasn't expecting that. Ava was used to yelling, crying, storming out, and then making up the next day. She was used to drama and snap forgiveness. But I don't work that way. I moved out of our shared apartment the next day while she was still at work. I'd already been paying most of the rent anyway. I packed up everything that was mine and left the key on the kitchen counter. No note, no closure, just silence. At first, she acted like it was nothing. A few messages came in from an unknown number. So you're ghosting me now. That's cute. You'll come crawling back like you always do. It was a party. I was drunk. Grow up. I didn't reply. 2 days later, you seriously just moved out without a word. You're overreacting. I was just mad. We're supposed to talk through stuff. You're acting like some petty child. Fine. If you want to act like this, stay gone. I did. And the longer I stayed gone, the more it seemed to unravel her. By the end of the week, the tone changed completely. Can we please just talk? One coffee, 5 minutes. I messed up. I was drunk and stupid. You know I didn't mean that. You're not even going to give me a chance to explain. I read them all, but I never responded. There wasn't anything to explain. She said what she meant. You're not a real man. Jason would never say no to me. She wanted control. She wanted someone to chase her after being publicly humiliated. She wanted the old pattern. Cruelty, silence, then attention. I wasn't giving it to her. That's when the outside pressure started. Her best friend Camila texted me, Ava's been crying for days. I know she messed up, but no one deserves to be ignored like this. Then a mutual friend, Eric, messaged me on Instagram. Dude, she's not doing well. At least let her say her piece. They meant well, but they weren't there. They didn't hear what she said. Or maybe they did and just didn't care enough to remember it. I didn't explain myself. I didn't argue. I just removed both of them too. That weekend, I stayed with my coworker, Lena. She offered her guest room when I mentioned I needed a place for a while. She didn't ask for details, didn't pry. She just handed me a spare key and a blanket and said, you don't owe anyone your peace. I'll never forget that. We weren't close before, but that week changed things. She saw me at my lowest and never asked for anything in return. We'd eat quiet dinners, talk about stupid work stuff, watch shows on opposite ends of the couch. It was peaceful. Meanwhile, Ava's silence didn't last long. I started getting new number texts every few days. I knew they were from her even before opening them. Jason's not answering my calls. I think he blocked me. I didn't even want to talk about that apartment. You made it awkward. I was trying to build a life with you, but you just ran. Don't you miss me? It was all slipping through her fingers. Her grip, her image, her control. One night she sent a voice message. I didn't play it. I just watched the waveform bounce, then deleted it. She even tried Venmo messaging me $1 with, can we talk? I hit block again. I started sleeping better, working harder. Lena and I got closer. She never brought up Ava unless I did. I appreciated that. It made it easier to let the weight drop. And somewhere in the middle of it all, I realized I wasn't sad. I was free. Ava wasn't just toxic. She was performative. Everything was for attention, control, or reaction. The second I gave her none of that, the illusion shattered. She wasn't heartbroken. She was humiliated. Jason didn't want her. I didn't want her. And for the first time, she was forced to sit in silence. She didn't control. I didn't need revenge. I didn't need closure. I just needed to not care anymore. And that's exactly where I was headed. I thought blocking Ava would be the end of it. But people like her don't go quiet without a fight. Not when they've lost the spotlight. The next time I heard her name was at work. Lena walked into the break room, phone in hand, shaking her head. You're not going to believe this, she said. Guess who just followed me on Instagram? I didn't have to guess. She liked 2 of my selfies, Lena went on. One from like a year ago. What's she trying to do, mark territory that isn't even hers? Isahil. She's spiraling. No, Lena said. She's watching. Ava didn't message Lena directly, but it was obvious. She was trying to rattle something. Test the water. See if I'd come chasing if she got close enough to someone I trusted. It didn't work. Instead, it made things clearer. A few days later, Eric, the mutual friend who tried to defend her, sent me a screenshot. It was a Facebook post from Ava's sister. Ava had apparently gone to see Jason again. Again. They got in some kind of fight. Public, messy, dramatic. Someone called the cops. No one got arrested, but it made enough of a scene that Ava's parents were called to pick her up. Jason blocked her the next day. I didn't laugh. I didn't feel vindicated. I felt nothing. It wasn't my life anymore. But her descent didn't stop there. I started hearing things from people I hadn't spoken to in months. She got into a shouting match with one of her friends at a bar. She lost a freelance client because she missed 2 deadlines in a row. Someone saw her crying in a parking lot next to her totaled car. No one hurt, just a dumb accident, but it added to the pile. And through all of it, she kept trying to message me from new numbers and accounts. I know I messed up. We had something real. Don't throw it away. He wasn't who I thought he was, but you were. I miss how you looked at me. No one looks at me like that now. She was starting to realize the damage was permanent. And the more desperate her messages got, the more calm I felt. I'd started working out more. I cut back on junk food. I stopped skipping lunch breaks and started taking walks with Lena instead. Sometimes we go to the same coffee shop Ava used to hate because she said it was too quiet. That became the point. I wasn't just recovering, I was evolving. One day I posted a photo from a small weekend hike. It wasn't anything flashy, just a shot of me by a cliffside looking out at the trees. Ava liked it from a burner account and commented, "Missed this." I blocked it without replying. A week later, she texted me from a different number. Just the word please. I didn't even open it. That night, I told Lena about it. We were having dinner on her patio, just the two of us watching the sky turn orange behind the city skyline. She's still reaching out, she asked. Every few days, Lena took a sip of wine, then leaned back in her chair. You know, some people think silence is cruel. I nodded. But not everyone deserves words. She smiled. Exactly. I'd never told Lena everything about what happened with Ava, but she knew enough. And in that moment, I realized I didn't need to tell her more. That part of my life wasn't worth explaining anymore. It was behind me. Ava was behind me, and she hated that because the worst punishment for someone like her wasn't anger or insults or revenge. It was indifference. And I had plenty to give. I should have known it wouldn't stop at texts. The night she showed up, I was alone at Lena's. Lena was visiting family for the weekend, and I was sitting on the couch eating leftovers halfway through a documentary. I didn't hear the knock at first. It was light hesitant. I thought it might be a neighbor. But when I opened the door there, she was standing on the porch with her makeup smudged hair pulled back in a way I'd never seen before. Her jacket was way too thin for the weather. She looked like a stranger. "Hi," she said, softly smiling like we were still a couple. I didn't say a word. I was walking around, she said, glancing past me into the apartment. I had nowhere to go. Her voice was shaky, but her tone was rehearsed. The same performance I used to fall for. Pity, vulnerability, the damsel pose. "I don't want to fight," she said, stepping slightly closer. "I just miss you." I didn't move. I didn't open the door wider. I just stood there. She looked down, then back up. "Jason's gone. He blocked me. Everyone's kind of disappeared. And I just keep thinking about you, about how safe I felt with you." There it was again. Safe. She meant boring, predictable, weak, a fallback. But now that her drama imploded and the real men were gone, suddenly she wanted the steady arm she used to mock. "I made a mistake," she whispered. I didn't know how good I had it. I finally spoke. "You knew," I said, quiet and calm. "You just didn't care." Her expression cracked for the first time. She wasn't expecting that. "I didn't mean what I said that night," she said quickly. "You know I was drinking. I was angry." "You meant every word." I said, "Because drunk you isn't different. She's just honest." She tried to step forward again, but I blocked the frame. "Please," she said, "can't we just talk for 5 minutes? Just talk. That's all I'm asking." I looked at her for a long moment, then I shut the door. No anger, no slamming, just click. She stayed out there for a few more seconds, maybe waiting for the door to reopen. Then I heard her walk off. She never knocked again. After that, things went quiet for a while. I figured maybe that was it. She finally gave up, but people like Ava don't give up. They recalculate. 2 weeks later, I got invited to a mutual friend's engagement party. I didn't want to go, honestly, but Lena nudged me into it. "It's time," she said. "You've already moved on. Why hide it?" She wasn't wrong. I wore a clean button-up, showed up late, and kept things casual. I didn't drink. I didn't linger. I just made my rounds, said hi to old friends, and found a quiet spot by the back patio with a plate of food and peace. And then I heard her laugh. Ava. I turned slowly. She was standing by the bar inside, talking to someone I didn't recognize, dressed like she was trying way too hard to look like she wasn't trying. She saw me before I could turn away. Our eyes met for just a second, and she broke away from her group and came straight toward me. "Hey," she said, breathless. "Didn't think I'd see you here." I nodded once. "It's a small city." She laughed awkwardly, then looked down at her shoes like this was some kind of rom-com. "I just wanted to say, I'm really sorry for everything, for how I treated you, for what I said that night." I said nothing. She took it as an invitation to keep going. I didn't mean it. You know that, right? I was drunk. I was trying to impress my friends. It was stupid. I let her talk. "I was scared," she said. "You were so calm all the time. It made me feel alone, like you didn't care." I finally spoke. "I was calm because I trusted you," I said. "Because I thought we were partners." Turns out I was alone the whole time. She blinked hard, like she was trying not to cry. "Jason's not who I thought he was," she whispered. "He used me. I was so stupid." "You were selfish," I corrected. "Not stupid. You knew exactly what you were doing. You just didn't think I'd walk." "I just needed to feel wanted," she said, her voice rising slightly. "He made me feel that way. You didn't." I tilted my head. "So it was my fault you cheated." She opened her mouth, then shut it. "I didn't cheat," she muttered weakly. "No, I said you just degraded me in public and chased the guy you used to cry about. That's not cheating. It's just pathetic." Her face twisted. "You think you're better than me now, don't you?" "No," I said. "I've always been better. I just didn't realize it until you showed me who you really are." She stared at me, waiting for me to flinch. I didn't. Lena walked up beside me a second later. "You ready to go?" I nodded and turned back to Ava one last time. "I hope you figure yourself out," I said. "But I'm not going to be part of the mess you leave behind anymore." Then I walked out with Lena. Ava didn't follow. She hasn't reached out since. It's been months now. Ava's name doesn't come up anymore. Not from friends, not from messages, not from my own thoughts. She's just gone. I still see her accounts sometimes. New ones, each with fewer followers. Each one quieter than the last. I don't block them anymore. I don't need to. Some ghosts haunt you. Others fade when you stop chasing them. I didn't win anything. I didn't get revenge. I just stopped giving her power. Now I sleep well, eat better, and spend my weekends with people who don't drain me. Lena and I still hang out. Maybe something more is growing there. Maybe not. Either way, it's healthy, easy, real. Ava once said Jason would never say no to me. Well, now neither of us says anything to her. And somehow, that silence says it all. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Share it in the comments.